Hello. Are you looking for some English listening practice? Do you want to expand your vocabulary a bit and maybe pick up some useful tips for expressing yourself a bit more naturally in English? If so, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to explore English language for talking about simple pleasures. Those little moments that bring us calm, peace, comfort, and joy in everyday life. By the end of this episode, you'll learn how to describe your simple pleasures using natural, everyday, real English expressions. We'll also introduce some new vocabulary to talk about positive emotions and sensory experiences. Plus, I'm going to include some either writing or speaking prompts that you can use to practice expressing yourself in English. You can use these for journaling, for speaking practice, or to respond to them as questions in the comments. It would be great if you could use what you've learned in today's lesson to produce English yourself. That way you're gaining practice listening and speaking or writing. So today's podcast is a perfect opportunity to slow down, practice your listening, and reflect on the things that make life a little bit more beautiful, all while learning English. If you want to download the transcript for today's episode, then head over to my website. There's a link in the description below, and you'll find all the details down there. If we haven't met before, I'm Jo, and I work with adults who speak English as a second plus language. And if you like this gentle, real-life approach to learning English, then make sure you subscribe to my channel for more lessons and podcast episodes. A little while ago, my friend gave me this book as a gift. It's called Small Pleasures, and it's by the School of Life. It's not fiction, but it's not exactly self-help either. Rather, it's a collection of reflections on everyday joys. Now, the reason that I'm recommending this book to you, and the reason I've recommended it to some of my students, is that it's great for dipping into. Each essay is 2 or 3 pages long. I pick it up from time to time, and when I do, it always reminds me just how powerful these tiny moments can be. One of the entries is called Old Photos of Parents. Another is called A Hot Bath, something I can definitely relate to. Another is The Friend Who Listens. And I think my favourite entry is called The Charm of Cows. I think I didn't really appreciate just how charming cows are until I read this book. And now when I walk my dog every day and we walk past a field of cows, I take a moment to appreciate them. One of the entries is called A Favourite Old Jumper, which is rather appropriate because I'm wearing a favourite old jumper at the moment. And it starts, it's not one you can really wear except at home, and maybe even only when you're on your own or have a good excuse. It's suddenly very cold, or you're a bit poorly. You've just come back from a long trek in the country. It was raining. You have a shower, and now you can get wonderfully cosy. Do you get the idea? So often in life, we focus on big goals, big achievements, dramatic events. And we forget how lovely some of these little moments are. So before we go any further, I'd really like you to tell me one of your simple or small pleasures in the comments. It could be a hot cup of coffee, fresh bed sheets, the sunshine on your face. Let me know what small things bring you pleasure. Last week, I was walking my dog Milo early in the morning. It was quiet. No one else was around. We passed a tree that was absolutely covered in blossom, pale pink and soft. And I stopped for a moment and took it in. That tiny pause in the sunshine with the birdsong and the blossom and the sound of Milo in the background going frantically. That was a small pleasure, a moment of calm, nothing fancy, but it stayed with me for the whole day. Have you had a moment like that recently? It's so easy sometimes to forget to pause for a moment and take things in. So let's have a think about some natural expressions that you can use in English to talk about these small pleasures. There's something so comforting about. There's something so comforting about sitting in bed, reading a book with a cup of coffee. I find real joy in. I find real joy in cooking something simple and delicious. One of life's little pleasures is. One of life's simple pleasures is not setting an alarm on Sunday. It's the little things like. It's the little things like a kind message or a warm hug that mean the most. It instantly lifts my mood. Fresh coffee in the morning instantly lifts my mood. Are you noticing a theme here? Coffee is getting mentioned quite a lot. You can use these expressions in conversation, or perhaps if you're writing in your journal. Talk about journaling quite a lot. I've also mentioned keeping a voice note journal, another good way to practice your English speaking if you haven't got somebody that you can talk to. So let's look at some good adjectives to describe these special moments. Soothing. If something is soothing, it means that it's calm and gentle. I find being near water quite soothing. The next word, cosy. Something is cosy, it means that it's warm, safe and comfortable. Imagine wrapping yourself up in a blanket. That's cosy. Heartwarming. If something is heartwarming, it means that it's emotionally uplifting. At the moment, I'm watching a TV show on Netflix called Love on the Spectrum, and it's about adults with autism who are looking for love. And I find it really comforting. It makes me smile. The next word, satisfying. Something that's satisfying brings a sense of pleasure or relief. If I have a long day, sometimes by the end of the day I can feel tired, but it's still satisfying because I've worked hard all day, and then in the evening I can relax and enjoy the relaxation all the more for having worked hard in the day. The final adjective I've got is nostalgic. I mentioned in the book one of the entries was old photos of parents. And this is something that is nostalgic. Something that's nostalgic reminds you of the past in a very fond, warm way. I find smells very nostalgic. The smell of a particular perfume will remind me of my mum. There are some songs that make me feel nostalgic. And when I hear them, they immediately give me a lift. I enjoy the nostalgia. So making some sentences with these adjectives, the soft music playing in the background was really soothing. Lighting a candle in the evening feels cosy and calming. That smell of freshly baked bread is heartwarming and nostalgic all at once. In the UK, we actually love talking about small pleasures quite a lot, especially in small talk. It's part of how we connect. We'll often say things like, "Oh, you can't beat a nice cup of tea." Or, "Isn't it lovely when you come out of the house and you feel the sunshine on your face?" Now it's your turn. I've got 3 prompts or sentence starters. Try speaking out loud and using one of these sentence starters. One small thing that makes me feel happy is. So for me, one small thing that makes me feel happy is when my family are together and we're laughing. The next prompt is when I need to relax, I. So for me, I would say when I need to relax, I switch off, I pick up a book and I get cozy on the sofa and I read for 15 minutes. The final prompt is a little everyday luxury for me is. So think of something that you indulge in that makes you feel better. A little everyday luxury for me is spending 5 minutes cuddling my dog and staring out of the window in the morning. What about you? Pause the video here if you like. You don't have to be perfect. Just practice using these prompts to express yourself. The more you do it, the more naturally it will come to you. You could even record a voice note or write these prompts in your journal. Like I said before, I'd love to hear about your small pleasures. So if you feel comfortable, leave a comment below sharing one of your small pleasures. Something small and simple that brings you joy. And if you enjoy this gentle podcast style episode, then give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Or share it with a friend who might appreciate a small moment of calm and a little bit of English listening practice. Like I said before, if you look in the description, you'll find a link for further information about this book. There'll also be a link to my website where you can download the PDF transcript of this episode, along with some of the vocabulary and expressions that I've used today. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.